Alright, here are Quiz 1 solutions for Math 111. First question, you're asked to find how far apart these 2 points are. You got a couple options. One way to do it is you could graph these 2 points. Say -2, +2 is over here somewhere, and 4, and 10, way the hell up here. And then the question is, how far apart are those 2 points if you could draw a straight line, which I can't. And the easiest way to do that is to create a triangle. Maybe we create this triangle right here. Then all you got to do is figure out how long each of these sides are. Well, this side right here, the height changes from 2 to 10, so this side right here is 8. And this side right here, the width goes from -2 to 4, so this is 6. So then you can use Pythagorean Theorem. You could say that, I don't know if I call this C maybe, I could say that, looks like that's hard to read, C squared is equal to 6 squared plus 8 squared. 6 squared is 36, maybe I'll go down a line. 36, 8 squared is 64, and if you add up 36 and 64 you get 100, and the square root of 100 is 10. Another way to do this would be using our distance formula. Distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So it's basically the same calculation. I don't know, maybe we'll call this one x1 and y1, and this x2 and y2. We want to do x2 minus x1, so that is 4 minus -2 squared, and then to that we want to add y2 minus y1, 10 minus 2 squared, and what we get is it's the square root of 4 minus -2 is 6, 10 minus 2 is 8, so it's the square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared, but we already figured out 6 squared plus 8 squared is 100, so it's the square root of 100, which is 10. So either way, maybe I write an or in here. Find 5 other points that are the same distance from this point that this guy is. Okay. Maybe a picture would help. -2, 2. Try to draw this a little neater than I did last time is right here. And then 4, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is up here. And I want to find points that are the same distance from this guy down here that this guy is. But I have some help. I figured out in part 1 that the distance between these 2 points is 10. So I can kind of take advantage of that fact. I just need to find points that are 10 away from this point. Well, there's lots of different points that are 10 away from this point. In fact, they make a circle. There's infinitely many points. It's a circle of radius 10 at this center. The easiest ones to find are probably just going out 10 this way. See, that's adding 10 to the x-coordinate. So this guy would be at what, 8, 2? I could go back 10 this way. Oh, let's try that again. A little bit better. Now I'm subtracting 10 from the x-coordinate, -12, 2. I could go up by 10. If I add 10 to the y-coordinate, that's -2, 12. Is that guy up there. I could go down by 10. Gives me -2, -8. Said 5 other points because 4 of them are kind of easy, and so I wanted you to find one that's a little bit harder. For this last one, you got to get a little bit clever. I think the easiest way to do it is be like, all right, we ended up 10 away at this point because we went over 6 and up 8. So we'd also be 10 away if we went over 6 and down 8, for example. We could throw a point down here that is over 6, so its x-coordinate is still 4, but now we go down by 8. So instead of going from 2 up to 10, we go from 2 down to -6. So there's one right there. There's a lot of other points you could do. You get kind of clever and find some other ones, but since we only need 5, I'll kind of leave it at this and list those 5. Just know your answers might vary a little bit. All right, I guess that's the end of part 1. Part 2, give the equation in standard form of the circle pictured below. Okay, what you need to know is that for a circle with center HK and radius R, the standard form of that circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So this is our standard form with all variables. We don't have our center at hk, we have our center at -3, 4. So we're going to say x minus -3, in other words x plus 3. And then y minus, instead of k, we're going to say, all right, our y coordinate is 4 here. So y minus 4. And that's equal to r squared. We got to figure out what is the radius of this circle. A little bit tricky. It doesn't flat out tell you what the radius is. But if you notice in the picture, it's tangent to the x-axis down here. So let's see, we know that the center had a height of 4 here. It's got a height of 0 here. So it looks like the radius is exactly 4. So it's equal to 4 squared, or 16. You could leave it as 4 squared, I don't care, or you can just write 16. So something like this would be the equation of this circle. Then the last one, all right, what if you don't have the equation of the circle in this nice form? What if they start you with something like this? Can you figure out what the center and the radius is? So it's kind of the same problem working backwards. And you can, otherwise I wouldn't ask it. What you got to do is complete the square, and you got to do it twice. So what I'm going to do is kind of spread stuff out. I got my x squared and my minus 2x over here, my y squared, my plus 4y over here, and the equals 4 over here. And so what I want to do is I want to rewrite this as x minus something squared so that it kind of fits into this form up here. And that's called completing the square. What you do is you take half of this number, so half of -2 is -1, and you write that here. And so you change x squared minus 2x into x minus 1 squared. But there's a problem. X squared minus 2x is not the same as x minus 1 squared. X minus 1 squared, if you FOILed this thing out, you'd get x squared minus 2x plus 1. We don't want x squared minus 2x plus 1. We want x squared minus 2x. But that's okay. We got a plus 1 at the end. We'll just subtract 1 to make it kind of cancel out. Same idea over here. Take half of positive 4, which is positive 2. And then we'll be like, all right, I changed y squared plus 4y into y plus 2 squared. There's a problem. Y plus 2 squared is really y squared plus 4y plus 4. I don't want that plus 4, so I got to subtract it off here to keep these things equal. Now what I have written here is the same as what I have written here. And that equals 4. And now you're done with the hard part. To get it into standard form, you'll just want to add 4 over to this side, add 1 over to this side, get x minus 1 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 9. And when you have it in this form, you can tell that the center is at positive 1 for its x coordinate and -2 for its y coordinate. And that's because I know that if the center is hk, we get x minus h. So if I get x minus 1, the center must be 1 comma something. And the radius, careful, it's not 9. It'd be really tempting to put 9. But if the radius is r, we have an r squared over here. So 9 is the same as 3 squared, so the radius is 3. So the set of points that satisfy this equation right here, they'll make a nice little circle whose center is at 1, -2, and whose radius is 3. And that right there is the end of this quiz.